Good morning. It's a wet and rainy September 1, the beginning of the bear months. And from reports all over the country, it is wet all over the place. And a lot of people are really beginning to describe our current situation, our weather, as a horrible weather. Anyway, welcome to the program, your agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this morning. And of course, thanking you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers of One News on channels 8 and 250 on the Cignal Play app, and to those of you who watch us via Facebook and YouTube. Maraming salamat po. Your support is much appreciated. We consider you part of the family. Welcome to today and this morning. If all goes well, if the wet weather doesn't meddle with our technology, then we hope to feature someone who can teach you a lot of things regarding having a career in the automotive industry. As my friends describe him, he is a three-time winner, meaning he has been in three different positions under three different big companies, automotive companies, and he can give all of us insights, lessons, and share his experience with us, because there are a lot of young people who fancy working in a car company and being able to spend time with one of their favorite hobbies, which is cars. But it's more than a hobby, it can be a career. But before all of that, let's go to our program proper, and let's start with the daily starter. And it comes from, okay, medyo pumasok yung daily starter natin dyan sa ibaba. From singer and philanthropist Dolly Parton, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain. And that is what we are doing right now. Believe me, I didn't plan this. Hindi po ito sinadya. I usually upload all of the daily starter on Sunday evening, and it is up to Gab Malyari to spread it out over the week. Although I do tell him, okay, this is for Monday, Tuesday, etc. But today's daily starter, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain, according to Dolly Parton. And that is very true in life. We often don't notice rainbows unless things have been gloomy and our lives are gloomy, or we're going through things. And suddenly when we see that break, when we see the colors across the sky, we actually say, thank you, Lord, for your promise for that rainbow. So that's from Dolly Parton. Let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star, and let's look at the headline. Today, September 1, 2023, Friday, DOJ suspends stricter outbound travel rules. After getting a lot of criticism, after being the subject of privileged speeches at the Senate floor, the Department of Justice has suspended stricter outbound travel rules being implemented or to be implemented by the Bureau of Immigration. In fact, there are now calls, particularly by the Senate President, that the Bureau of Immigration, who are responsible for the offloading of passengers or passengers missing their flight, should compensate the passengers. So we will see what will happen in these cases, because while we respect the Bureau of Immigration's efforts and we support them in their efforts against human trafficking, it must not be at the expense of Filipinos. And as pointed out by the senators, how is it that we are stricter with Filipinos, particularly Filipinas traveling abroad, but we allow all of these POGO employees, these foreign nationals recruited by the POGO companies to go in and out of the country. So that's the main headline. The big photo, the center photo, which is hard to miss in the front page of the Philippine Star, is an image of the Marikina River, okay, where cars were parked and ended up being flooded or sunk because floodwaters at the Marikina River level reached 15.7 meters amid a heavy downpour caused by the southwest monsoon enhanced by Typhoon Goring and Hana yesterday. Below, Quezon City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office personnel rescue stranded residents along Araneta Avenue. So yun po, double photo po yan. And that is the effects of the monsoon rain. So of course, it's going to be a difficult day for many. At the top of the front page, eto na naman, itong mga piste. Okay, Philippine rejects China's expanded 10-dash line in South China Sea. Not content with their imaginary 9-dash line, China has now brought out their new version, the 2023 version, the 10-dash line. And in this particular imaginary territory, China now included the country of Taiwan. Well, I call it a country. They believe they're a country. They're a nation. They're independent. So ayun po, sinakop na nila sa mapa yung Taiwan. Okay, so that's going to stir up a lot of talk, a lot of protests, etc. Vietnam will protest. The Philippines is protesting. A lot of other countries are protesting. Meanwhile, peace negotiator among Ramon Magsaysay awardees, Filipina peace negotiator and Professor Miriam Coronel Ferrer is among the 4 recipients of this year's Ramon Magsaysay Awards, which were announced yesterday. And Marcos to join ASEAN Summit in Indonesia. President Marcos is traveling to Jakarta next week to join the 43rd Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Summit, and related summits, where Manila is expected to push for statements on Beijing's aggressive actions in the West Philippine Sea. Ayan po. Okay. Then, sad news, tragic news. Yesterday, 15 dead in Quezon City fire. Mayor Belmonte orders probe. For those of you wondering what happened here, a house was converted or utilized as a t-shirt printing factory. The problem was the place was full of machines. The machines blocked exit and passageways, and they ended up with only the main door and one window for exit. So the whole house became a fire trap and killed so many employees as well as family members of the residence owner. And yun po, no, I watched the news last night, and in the news, I believe it was, anyway, in the news, the barangay was asked, the barangay officials were asked, why did you allow this factory to be there, or this house to be used as a printing facility? And the barangay official said, no, but we only did it on the strength of what the Homeowners Association approved or endorsed. So, ayun po, nagkasisihan. Hello, all of you will end up in court regarding this matter by the time Mayor Joy Belmonte is done with the investigation. Yan na po yung sinasabi natin, nagkakaturuan po. And this should be a reminder to all of you as we vote for our barangay officials this year. Okay. At the bottom of the front page, Sara had 433 security escorts in 2022. Okay, according to the Commission on Audit, a total of 433 people served as part of Vice President Sara Duterte's security and protection group in 2022. An increase of 455% from the 78 detailed military personnel under the office of the Vice President in 2021 during the last term of then Vice President Leni Robredo. Ayun po. So medyo this is going to be one of those issues that will surely be used against Sara Duterte or Vice President Sara Duterte. Tragic that our officials need a battalion of security in this day and age. Medyo malungkot po yun. I hope this is clarified soon. Meanwhile, PALA suspends classes in NCR government work today. Okay. Malacanang has suspended classes and government work in Metro Manila today because of the bad weather caused by the southwest monsoon, super typhoon Goring, and severe tropical storm Hana. Yun po. Mabuti na. It's a good decision by Malacanang, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, because if not, makakadagdag lang yan sa problema. Last but not the least, the bottom part of the Philippine Star features a really wide-angle photo of the 2023 Metro Bank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos receiving their prizes during the conferment ceremony at Grand Hyatt Manila on Tuesday. Photo shows Metrobank President Fabian D., Federal Land Chairman Alfred T., Staff Sergeant Danilo Bangkiao, Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Bitancourt, Army Colonel Joseph Jeremias, Cirilio Dator, Rex Sario, Jocelyn De Losa, Senator Francis Escudero, First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos, Metrobank Chairman Arthur T. Edgar Durana, June Elias Patalinhug, Colonel Renel Sabaldica, and Major May Ann Cunanan, Chief Master Sergeant Dennis Bendo, and Metrobank Foundation President Aniceto Sobrepeña. Hindi po yan basta-basta award ceremony. I have been a judge in one of those Metrobank events or competition, and I tell you, it is not easy to win those awards. Pahirapan po yan. Talagang magnifying glass ang buhay ninyo. Okay, so that's all the stuff we have here on the front page of the Philippine Star. Do get a copy of the Star. Read the inside pages because there's so much more information. We will go for a quick break, and when we return, we will go with our personality interview this morning that we hope will help people understand the automotive industry. What is it like to be an executive in a car company or various car companies? How do the cultures differ from Japanese and Chinese organizations? We'll be right back here on Agenda.
Despite the recent oil price hikes, more and more Filipinos are buying automotive vehicles. Based on the report, new vehicle sales reached 37,000 units in July. That is 33.3% higher than the record sales in the same period a year ago. Local automotive industry experts say this signals a strong start for the industry for the second half of 2023. Chery Auto Philippines also share the same optimistic view. The company's sales continue to trend upward as they sold an all-time high of 382 units last June. How can Chery Auto sustain this momentum in sales? Let's discuss this on today's agenda.
Froilan Dytianquin is the managing director of Chery Auto Philippines. Prior to this, he was the general manager of Geely Philippines' sales and marketing division. Dytianquin also worked at Mitsubishi Motors Philippines for 26 years. In that company, he rose through the ranks within the sales and marketing division and became first vice president.
Okay, welcome to the program, Mr. Froy, and I do hope you are managing to stay warm and dry. Where are you, Marikina ba yan?
No, I'm in the office, Cito, and I went here early just to be relaxed while we're doing this going to be this interview, Cito.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, and I picked you out of a list because I believe that there are many young men and women who are attracted in the automotive industry, particularly because of the strong presence on social media. And a lot of young people are saying, yeah, what's it like to work in a car company in the automotive industry? So I said, well, if there is one guy who I could say has seen it all, it would be Froilan. So that's why I said, guys, let's get Sir Froy on the program. And to start up, did you actually plan on being in the automotive industry, or were you just trying to get a job?
Yeah, well, first of all, Cito, I'd like to say good morning to all your televiewers and, of course, good morning to you. But actually, when I graduated in college with the course of BS Industrial Management Engineering, actually the options are very bright because when they say industrial management engineering, they say it's the jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, in my course, it's industrial management engineering. Then I have also a minor course in mechanical engineering. But when I started to work, I actually ended up with a construction firm, a machinery sales group of AGNP, Atlantic,
Okay.
Gulf, and Pacific. Then after that, I went to a transportation company, Delgado Brothers, Delbros.
Mm-hmm.
Then I applied for Mitsubishi already. That was in 1992. I graduated in 1989. So it all started, my automotive career all started in 1992. So it was really not planned. No? I just opted to apply on a classified ad that there was a position for a vehicle sales assistant at Mitsubishi Motors Philippines. Actually, back then it was PAMCOR. No?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, during my time when I was I was in college, everyone dreamt of going to the petroleum company. Siyempre, Shell or Petron or Caltex. Those were the dream jobs. So when I actually submitted and my application to PAMCOR Mitsubishi, I was fortunate I was picked, no? And that started it all, no? I was hired as I mentioned, vehicle sales assistant. So I deal with dealers, the automotive dealers of Mitsubishi, and yeah, from there after sales, I went to marketing, and my mentor before was Mel Dizon. No? So he was a really good mentor, and he kumbaga, he opened my eyes to to the automotive industry. That's where I
Were,
also
yeah,
yeah.
but
Go
were
ahead.
you a car guy back then, or because AGNP, it's not easy to get into AGNP. Then Delbros, Delbros was one of the pioneers in mobility and in logistics, and
Yes.
then vehicle sales assistant. Parang baka naman sinabi nanay mo, ano, Froilan, gumastos ako ng pagkadami-daming pera, pagkatas magtitinda ka lang ng kotse?
Well, actually, you mentioned talagang ba mahilig ako sa kotse? Yes, I would say because when I was a child, I was collecting these matchboxes.
Mhm.
So yun talagang hilig ko. I was passionate about cars. Then I opted to study driving early. Actually, I did not enroll to a driving school. In fact, it's my own doing. And in fact, it's funny, I would volunteer to clean all the cars. So para at
Mhm.
least I will be able to drive them. so so yun. So
Style.
I learned driving from that. At that time, puro manual pa yon. So
Mhm.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's when it all started.
Did the expectation did the reality fit your expectation? Because everybody would think, wow, Japanese company, expat ano ka na, malaki ang future mo, etc. And then you're going to be dealing with, working with cars. But actually, you were dealing with dealers. And from what I know of dealers, they can be angels or they can be Lucifer.
Yeah, you're correct there, no? So that probably that's the key point. You get first to deal with different types of people,
Mhm.
business people, no? And businessmen who are actually, of course, priority is their profit. So I guess this did well to my upbringing in the automotive field. No? I get to talk and communicate and be able to deal with these people.
Mhm.
Then the second part, yun nga, when I was transferred to marketing, so that actually had an influence in being able to love the business more because I was able to develop my skills in say being creative, no? Because marketing, of course, yung communications, yung advertising, then also the nitty-gritty wherein you go to the technical stuff. I was involved also in the product planning. So like
What
for
does
example,
that mean or involve, Troy? Because okay, vehicle sales, nagbebenta ka, you go doon sa mga dealers na nagbebenta ng sasakyan. Marketing, it is more of a company level where you're planning the sales program of the company, the advertising, the promotion. Pero yung ano yung sinabi mo, that's a new level.
it's a product planning, no? So you
Mm.
prepare the products that you sell, no? And normally, when before you launch the vehicle, the new vehicle, you get to you get to study what are the specifications, no? If you notice, in the cars we sell today, there are variants, no? Meaning there will be a low variant, a middle spec variant, and the luxury or premium variant. So
Mhm.
my role back then was to select, no, what features will fit on these three types of classes, no, and
Mhm.
be able to come up with a good value for money proposition, taking into account the competitors, no,
Mhm.
competitive products that you will encounter, no, with when you're going to sell this models. So
What
to
does
the
what does that entail? Because you need to understand what the competitor is doing, what the competitor is selling, and how they are pricing, and then you have to figure it out. And you're a Filipino in a Japanese company.
yeah, correct, Cito. When I say the reviewing the specifications of the competitors, you're correct there. In fact, we have what we call the apple to apple comparison. So you compare, let's say, ito, for example lang, the tires. The tire of your competitor is 17-inch. Then you have to check if you can offer a more bigger wheel, no?
Mhm.
So at least you have already an advantage from your competitor.
Mhm.
So these are the things that you have to study. What are the options available, and what are the competitors' features available also. So you
Oh,
have to
okay.
combine the right ingredients, so to say, so to speak.
Mhm. So how do you deal, or how did you deal with, well, I don't think there AGNP was a local company, Delbros was a local company. Now going into I worked in Sony in Solid Industries, so I dealt with Japanese executives. But in your case, there was a big presence of Japanese in management in Mitsubishi. Now, what was the experience like when you came in and you had to start working with them? What did you learn?
At that time, it's more of the discipline. Of course, trying to find the best. Yun nga, I was talking about the value,
Hmm.
value on the products, but
Yeah.
at the same time, value on the work, because we know that Japanese are really they're they're workaholics.
Hmm.
And I think during my time when I entered Mitsubishi at that time, the 90s, you probably, as you mentioned, you work for Sony. They're really workaholics. So this is something that I learned, no? The value of the work that they provide to you, and be able to uh, inhibit the self discipline, no? To be able to do or check your work accurately, do your work accurately, and be able also to double check all the necessary when you do kasi presentations.
Hmm.
It's not enough that okay, I'll do the presentation, then that's already okay. But you have to anticipate. No? That's also one thing. You have to anticipate what will be the questions, what will be the repercussions of your presentation. Let's say, okay, you made this recommendation. Be prepared. No, what will be the succeeding questions from your Japanese bosses, and you should be able to uh, say to them that yes, this is my recommendation. I'm willing to back that up.
Was there ever a time when a certain product was the wrong fit for the Philippine market, or the pitch or the marketing strategy was the wrong fit, and that you had to bump heads with them?
Actually, uh, when you feel, no, that the product is not living to the expectation, the numbers, the sales, this is now the time that you have to go to the a succession plan, wherein what will be the countermeasures, no? Let's say, is it really, are you talking to the right market? So it may be a marketing or advertising a problem,
Hmm.
or is it really is it a value proposition, wherein are you hitting the price
Hmm.
of the target market? Then second, can the market afford? So you have to think, what are other ways that you can provide to your customers? Let's say, probably offer a good financing package,
Hmm.
wherein you can work with your bank partners and lower, let's say, their monthly amortization, or low down payment. So, in
But
essence,
in the organization, they didn't tolerate, or the organization does not tolerate conflict, or bumping heads, because I have heard comments about how Japanese executives and management has changed over the last 2 decades. that in the 90s, 80s, 90s, mababait yung mga Japanese executives. They were polite. They would, really work with you guys. But this is across the board, and then nowadays it seems that Japanese executives have become westernized, influenced by certain Western values, and have become more combative or aggressive. What did you notice during your stint at Mitsubishi?
Actually, during the 90s, my observation, the Japanese were more traditional. They're more conservative,
Mhm.
and there were some executives who, like when I say traditional, they are really very strict.
Mhm.
So, kumbaga, they will not allow any excuses.
Mhm.
Those are the traditional Japanese. Then come the 2000s, they were more sensitive to the market, meaning to the Filipino market. No? So
Mhm.
I guess the traditional Japanese were outdated, and come the younger executives who were more responsive to the Filipino
Mm.
executives.
Okay.
But as you mentioned right now, there are now the new ones who are probably, in a sense, they're also the millennials, no? And they're more aggressive. So again, there's going to be now a shift to this type of aggressive millennial type executives. No? So probably this is the one that you are hearing, because probably the upbringing is
Mhm.
different already. No? So these are the types. So my sense, I've stayed with Mitsubishi for almost 3 decades, so I've come to observe, no, this type of executive.
Yeah, the strict ones, it's my way or the highway. It is the company's targets that's important. The rest of us, we're just workers here. And then that shifted to more of this is a team. Let's cooperate. Let's go and achieve the goals. Targets are still important, but we consult. And now the new executives, they are like I have my goals because those goals are directly related to my promotion and my personal growth. So nagiging
You're
me.
correct.
That's why
Yeah.
they're called millennials. Okay, we'll go for a quick break. When we return, let's talk about transitioning from a Japanese culture to Chinese technology, Chinese vehicles, and of course, landing from Geely to Chery Automotive. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
The government has been pushing for more Filipinos to switch to electric vehicles. But aside from helping the environment, what other reasons can help Filipinos make the switch? Well, here's one. Under Republic Act 11697 or the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, EVs are exempted from number coding or other similar schemes implemented by the MMDA, local government units, and other agencies. Some analysts, though, are saying that the country needs a long-term incentive program to encourage more electric vehicle companies to set up local manufacturing hubs. It's not all roses, though, as some experts want to push the envelope further, saying that obsessing over electric cars is only slowing down the pursuit of net zero emissions. If it's for the environment, the focus, these experts contend, should be on active transport. So what makes it worth it to invest in electric cars? Let's discuss that further on today's agenda.
Okay, unfortunately, we probably won't have the time to discuss electric vehicles because the focus really today is about the working experience of a corporate executive in the motoring industry. So we will try to tackle electric vehicles in a separate interview. If our friend Froilan is on the air, Gab, please let me know. He seems to have lost his connection. But anyway, we were okay. There we go. Froy, welcome back, and let's continue our conversation. You had spent almost 30 years in Mitsubishi Motors, seen it all from powerful cars, powerful SUVs, etc., and even the transition to modern technology. But you then shifted to Geely, a Chinese vehicle manufacturing company. What was the big difference in the two companies? Because one is Chinese, one is Japanese, or same lang ba? They're both selling cars, and it's really dependent on the guys on the ground.
Yeah, one thing I want to clear also, Cito, no? When Sojitz, which was the previous partner of Mitsubishi, divested, no. So what made Sojitz, which is a Japanese trading company, did, no, way back in 2018, is to find another brand, of course, no, and given their fifth more than 70 years in the Philippine automotive industry, so they really have to continue. So what they did is to find another partner, and they found Geely. So Sojitz was the Japanese company, the trading company, got the distributorship for Geely. So I guess that's already one significant thing, no? A Japanese company representing a Chinese brand in the Philippines, no?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, still the company that the executive that I report to way back in 2018 was a Japanese. But as you mentioned it, we have our Chinese principals, no?
Mm-hmm.
So the Chinese principals are actually one thing that I also mentioned to you, the type of the executives right now, especially from Japanese, whether Japanese or Chinese, no, they are the aggressive ones now because they are the millennials. And what I found out in China, especially for Geely, their bosses there are very young. Even the president is, I think, not only mid-40s, no, who's running the Geely brand, no?
Mm-hmm.
So my sense, they are really very aggressive. They're more detailed, and they're pushy, in terms of the KPIs, So they more data driven, because they want to analyze how let's say you have a sales target. So they want to analyze how you went to that sales target by analyzing how many inquiries, how many leads, how many reservations, how many test drives. No? So these are the KPIs that are actually they're looking for, and this is on a daily basis. So as to sum it up, Chinese are more data driven. They are really very aggressive with their KPIs, and of course, One thing good for them is, of course, if they find that these KPIs are slowing down, they try to talk to you and will be able to do a countermeasure on immediately. So
Okay.
they're also very aggressive on that.
You've been credited as being responsible for launching Geely in the Philippines and being behind the success of the brand, at least in the beginning years of the brand. The company has since had problems recently, but what was your secret? Because there's still a lot of resistance to China-made brands, and the Geely models were not cheap. They were high-end products. You went with expensive models, with models that featured futuristic technology, and people were saying, "Kakagat ba ang Pilipino dyan? Mahal na high-tech pa." But apparently it worked. What made you do that?
One thing that we studied well is the market, no, Sito, because what we have observed also is the growing the buying of the Gen Z, the millennials, no?
Mhm.
And these people are already very much independent, wherein they want to have their own choice.
Mhm.
When I say I like to buy a phone, and they are more technology oriented, no? So I guess this is something related to their let's say investing on a car, no? So what features do you want in a car? Of course, I'm young and I want my let's say my phone to be connected with the car. So I guess we were able to sell the technology of the Chinese cars, because I think the Chinese cars are very much updated with all the technology, which we can find before only in European luxury cars, no?
Okay.
So I guess this did well for us when we introduced the Geely brand, no? We were able to tap the right market. And one good thing that we have observed also, Chito, is before, when we buy a car, no, during our time, we ask our parents, we ask our
Yeah.
friends, colleagues. But right now it's different. This Gen Z millennials, they do their own research, and I will be the one responsible for my decision. So I'll first research. Everything is on the internet. I'll try to check if this car is good. And one thing that we have observed, this is the trend of reverse mentoring now. As I mentioned before, we ask our dad or our
Mhm.
grand uncles, no, what is the good car to buy? You know? They will say stick with the Japanese, stick with the Americans. But now it's different. It's the young people now who are dictating their parents. Dad, ito mas maganda to. It's full of technology. It's sort of the reverse mentoring that's happening right
Okay.
now.
Now,
So
what made you shift from Geely to Chery? Because, of course, Chery has been in the Philippine market longer. They have a wider array of products, and they seem to be spread out. They have high-end value. They have beginning models. And I was wondering, bakit biglang lumipat si Froy dyan sa Chery?
there's two actually. One is of course, um, my feeling it's time to actually look for it's the management style that we're talking about, the management style of Japanese, of the Chinese. But
Mhm.
right now, why can't we have a Filipino executive working for a Filipino company
Mhm.
who's also represented properly. So I guess that made my decision. I was approached by the chairman, Romel, and that actually at the instant, no, I can also since he's involved with this Chinese brands like Chery, Photon, no, and I guess it's basically the continuity. That is the part that I was looking for. I want continuity in the directions, in the strategies, whereas in the Japanese or Chinese company, these are the executives will rotate. They're
Okay. Because in Mitsubishi, you have a Japanese culture. Then in Geely, it was Japanese, Chinese culture. And all of those executives there, they have 3 to 5 year terms and then
tenure.
they're
Yeah,
gone.
yeah,
And
they're
then,
gone.
but with Chery, it's a Filipino company here running the show here in the country. And the executives are mostly Filipino, although you do have Chinese
Principals, yeah,
partners,
Chinese principals.
principals.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. But I guess what's important is how you will be able to execute the programs locally. So
Mm-hmm.
again, you're back up with a Filipino executive or Filipino boss, who's
Mm-hmm.
there to stay and back you up. And I guess the strategies, the policies that you will implement is going to stay, and it will not. You will not expect a change. Let's say if I was in a Japanese or let's say an expat run company, that will
Mm-hmm.
change when a new expat comes in, right?
Okay.
So
I haven't
that's one
done.
thing.
Yeah, I haven't done much in the motoring in the motoring journalism area lately. But so you're gonna have to tell us what makes Chery stand out, because a lot of people seem to be buying the Chery models. And I heard from some bank people that the default is practically non-existent with the Cherry cars, unlike other brands na people who buy installment, there is a fallout, but with Cherry wala naman, mabenta. What makes it different?
One thing is the products of Chery now are very diverse. Although it's all SUVs, but it caters to the different segments of the SUVs. We have the small segment, the subcompact, the compact, the midsize. So there's now a growing demand for SUVs. No? And then come to think about it, before it was all the sedans. The automotive industry was dominated by sedans, passenger
Mhm.
cars, but now it's shifting now to this SUV. So that's where Chery came in strong. No, we have the different SUVs to cater for different types of segments, no, and different types of people. Then, as you mentioned, the mass, no, they are actually saying that although right now the minimum down payment is around, let's say, 20%, and some people are able to accept and be able to afford this 20% down payment. And it doesn't matter if they have the high monthly amortization, because you expect that these people, mostly, as again, coming back to the target market, these are young millennials and they are already working or they have their own business, so they can strive, no, be able
Mhm.
to upgrade, no, their, of course, after 2 years, their salary will upgrade, so they're able to take care of the monthly amortization. So I guess the bank profile of these people are actually very much on the
What
high side
Yeah,
when it
what
comes
are
to
you guys doing? Because normally we would say that the economy is bad, fuel is expensive, etc., etc. Toll rates are increasing. That means that the market share or sales will go down. But in the opening of the show, we reported that car vehicle sales went up. What are you guys doing differently to drive those sales? Because Chery is one of the popular brands, What are you doing differently from the past?
Yeah. First of all, during the 2019, that's the pre-pandemic, the sales right now is up by 6%. So we expect to already be able to overtake the pre-pandemic levels, no,
Mhm.
this year. So what is different? Probably there are more players right now. As you mentioned, there are a lot of Chinese brands right now. Uh, it's a good thing that Chery was also ahead. In 2019, it was Geely, MG, then Chery was the first of the Chinese brands that were present. No?
Mhm.
So now there's a lot of options right now, and now also I believe the other brands, no, the Japanese, whether Japanese, Koreans, Americans, they're now threatened, and they're coming up with more models. More when I say more models, they are also making it now more affordable. Because of course, as you mentioned, the Chinese cars are value driven right now. For so much features, so for so much technology, it's actually the price is very much affordable compared to, let's say, the Japanese, and yet the quality right now is also I would say, no, same as the Japanese or Koreans. Some people may not agree with me because they will say, oh no, that's still China, no. But I guess I think the Europeans will not be a partner of this Chinese makes, no. If not, these Chinese makes are doing it right. No? And
Mhm.
most of the technology, when I say technology right now, China is now in the forefront of the electric and hybrid vehicles. No? So they are the China is now leading on this
Okay, so
when we say to the electric.
going back to square one, is there still a bright future for people who want to follow the path of Froilan as far as becoming an automotive industry executive?
Definitely, definitely. It's my what I would like to recommend. It's basically keep. It's not only that's not only apply in the on the automotive industry, but it's also applies to any work. You just the first thing you have to really do is love the job. Be passionate. No, for me at the start of the program, what made you go to the automotive? Because when I was kid, I loved those cars, no, matchboxes and toy cars. No?
Mhm.
So I guess I was passionate about it. No? So I guess it carried me through my career. So I guess this is something. Even though you're not passionate about cars, you will love the automotive industry because of its challenges, you know, a lot of challenges. And again, the people that you're dealing with, you deal with the businessmen, you deal with banks, no? So there's a lot of you deal with the different types of customers. So you have to be just to be ready and be able to meet challenges. Of course, sometimes there's no perfect cars, people. No? So
Mhm.
there's going to be something will break down. But again, you have to be prepared and be able to meet these people who really demand a lot, no, just for let's say a certain breakdown. But everything can be worked out.
Okay, well, Froy, we've run out of time, but congratulations. You're still running in the game, still in the motoring, in the automotive industry, and we wish you all the best. We wish Chery Motors the best, and have a great and happy weekend, my friend.
Thank you very much, Cito. Thank you very much. God bless
Okay,
you.
okay, that's Froilan Dytianquin, Managing Director, Chery Auto Philippines. I could never get that title correctly. Chery Auto Philippines. Okay, thank you. And now let's go to the closing blessing for the week. And it comes from the second book of Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 14. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this week. We pray that you will have a safe, happy weekend. Please stay dry. If you don't need to do anything important, stay home, read a book, pray, and enjoy your family. And please include us in your prayers team agenda. We hope to see you next week. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News.